Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's another review, unfortunately. Well, some of you will now see that I don't just review stuff I like. It has a very big theme, but I like doing the good reviews. I'm a kind of upbeat person like that. But today, we are reviewing a terrible product. I hate to say it because I had really high hopes, but we were reviewing this. The Stiga Combi 748 SE. 748 is the range, a 48 centimeter deck, I imagine is what that means. So we've got level 7 out of 9. So it's not the high end one. And there's a reason I went for these, because the SE means self-propelled electric start. Let me just get this undone and then I can show you. Ow, ow. There we go. Now, I went for this for a few reasons. The first one was, my guys, when they're out in the vans, always, oh God, just pinched it very well there, but always break these cables, the self-drive and the deadman cable, handle, ignition, whatever you want to call it. This one's got a third one, which is the electric start. And I thought, wow, what a great idea. The Stiga's got a sort of like an elbow in the middle, which allows you to twist it rather than fold it, because the folding is where all the pinching comes from and breaks the cables. Well, it did work a little bit. We're still getting some damage to the cables. This is the electric one, which is really annoying because that's the expensive one. But we do still get some pinching on the other ones as well, as you can see, where they turn it and it gets stuck under this cap here, and then they lock it and it pinches it. Yes, that's due to staff not taking care of the product. It is what it is. I can't really moan at them any more than I already do. And there's reasons, they might be just busy, absent-minded, have trouble getting stuff in the van. By the by, the problem with these is they are terribly unreliable. Stiga, which isn't a brand known for being unreliable, but these models, oh my God, I bought them back in June, July, I think, from Mower Magic, which I've bought loads of stuff from before. They're not the commercial models. They're a high-end model, so they have lots of nice bits, but they're not the commercial models. So there's certain things like the thickness of the cables. The self-drive transition system isn't steel inside or a metallic, it's plastic. And I didn't know all these things at the time, and I wish I did. So hence why I'm doing this review, because if anybody's thinking they look good for the money. So, first thing, within the first 2 weeks, this thing, you might be able to see here, there's a little bracket there, and that's what, it's a plate that goes inside here that holds this socket on top of these bars, and then this is mounted separately so it can twist. This is welded on, this little plate is welded on, and after 2 weeks of lifting it up into the van, moving it around, all that sort of stuff, it snapped. Being an ex-welder, I know exactly why it snapped. The weld that holds that plate to that circular section, circular steel, didn't get penetration all the way through the bit it's joined to. It literally just, the weld metal literally just stuck to the top of it, so it was never going to last. Contacted Stiga, they said, given that it's in the first 30 days, we'll just send you a new one, which is great because they're about 70, 80 quid for a new handle. So I was over the moon. Didn't realise that was going to be the first of a long list of issues. The next thing, after about a month, the self-propelled, no, tell a lie, we lost these. I think there's normally a handle on these, I don't even know, but it's gone. It's, from what I can remember, I don't remember ever seeing it. I think it's a grey one, but I don't remember ever seeing it. But of course, it wouldn't just be like that. The second thing was, these would not just go down. As soon as you unhook that, it falls to the ground. Almost like there's no traction, no cable, no spring. Some of these have a spring. And in fact, this has a hole over here, the spring normally attaches to this rod, which is the height adjustment, and then when you take it out of the little height adjuster, the spring pulls the tension back to make it easier to lift up and lift down. There is a spring, it's just not in the conventional place. So every time that goes wrong, you don't realize where it is that's making it fall. What they have is in the front housing, you can see this thing here, right here. Oh, that little bit of metal sticking out there, that is the spring, and all it does is attach to this front wheel, and that is your adjustment. Great, no problem. I don't mind different things being different, unconventional, which is what these handles are, but it always unhooks from that little metal thing. Maybe it catches on something, maybe, I don't know, some sort of twig gets stuck on it, I don't know. But several times now I've had to open the front of that case up, pull the tension string back around that little loop, and then it will start being able to adjust the height happily again. If that's not on there, what will happen is as soon as you pull this lever, it falls straight to the ground, which is fine, all right? But when you come to raise it back up, it's so heavy, it can't be raised back up into place very easy. This one's still working. It was fixed recently, and yes, you can adjust it slowly and stuff like that, and you get in there. But if it hasn't got that spring, it's so heavy, as soon as you lift it out, straight on the floor. In fact, it's so heavy that even when you get it on the top adjustment, if you hit a bump, this will move and the weight pulls it, so you're constantly scalping the lawn, which is a problem for my customers, obviously. Issue number 3. You can see on here, there's sort of like a hubcap. Now, it's really important on the back wheels because, of course, that's where the cogs for the self-drive are. You should have them here, but after about 4 weeks, they pop off and they never go back on. So what you're left with is 2 wheels plus 2 little discs that rattle around on their axes. And the only thing you can do with them is pop the wheels off, take them off, pop the wheels back on, because they're serving no purpose. They just won't go back in. They've got little teeth that seem to just not go back into place. And they do go back into place, but they don't stay there when they go back in place. It's almost like it's a tiny little lip. Put it in, it just bends under and catches, and the tension of that little lip goes. So you push it in, it pops straight out again. Rubbish, absolutely rubbish. The fourth thing, which was one of the most difficult things, I had to take it to an engineer to get it looked at, and he figured it out. And it does happen through misuse sometimes, but it shouldn't happen this easy. At the front here, it doesn't have a conventional choke system. Down here somewhere, where is it? Up here, you have this bar, which tweets a little thing inside there. Can you see it? See that moving? That is your choke system. I think it works quite well. The problem is the little things that are holding that moving part on are just 2 little tiny pieces of metal that go through the 2 holes in it and bend into place. When I first got it, that came off completely. The little bits of metal were just there. So of course you'd have it going, it would actually work quite well for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and it couldn't tension the choke anymore, couldn't adjust to the choke anymore, and therefore it would just hunt and stop, and you could not get that thing started again. You leave it to cool down and it would work again, so it would give the impression it's overheating, and I couldn't figure it out. And I should have done, because it's got no governor springs, which is normally doing that job, so I should have worked out where is it tensioning the choke and the airflow. Anyway, take it to a friend over in Whitfield, if you're local to the area. Great guys, Coastal Mower Repairs I think they're called, and he spotted it straight away, said it was broken. He says, no, sometimes this happens, there's a few engines use it, Sometimes this happens when you push it under a bush and a branch catches it, but it was quite clear to see that those two little prongs were so little that you could have put your finger behind it and just done that a little bit and it would have just popped off. So he got that mechanism off another mower, put it in. It had stronger prongs by the looks of it, just hadn't had as much movement. Put them in, bent it round, worked perfect. Put a bit of glue on it because these don't move, they just twist like that, but they're fixed, and it's never come off again. Why would you have a system like that that so easily pops off? If you want to only mow half an inch off your lawn and you're going to do that all year round, I suppose this would be fine, but there's much better mowers in place for the sort of lawn enthusiast. These are proper mowers. Where are we at? 4, 5? I can't remember. Let's jump back a little bit. The battery start on these is a detachable battery, which is really good because I thought you can replace it, but you can't get hold of them. The first couple of months we had it, one of the batteries wasn't charging, only charged to 2 bars. Put it in, you get about 3 starts out of it, which of course is no good. Even if you're doing a small lawn, you're going to empty the grass bag a couple of times and then restart it. Took it over to my friend. He is a Stiga sort of certified technician. He phoned them up, argued toss, they sent us a new battery. So, you know what, I'm fairly happy with Stiga at this point, apart from the fact that their product seems to be my fault that I bought it, because it doesn't seem fit for purpose. Certainly not for commercial stuff, even though they give you 1 year commercial guarantee, I believe. They give 5 years guarantee on these through Mower Magic. Mower Magic. If they honestly think this is going to last 5 years, even just for a domestic user, I think they've got some serious issues and they might know about it. The other thing, when I bought it, of course, the power start was very attractive because if you're doing mowing all day, pulling that thing, you know, especially if it's not starting first time, is quite jarring on the shoulder. And it just so happens that one of our main guys has got arthritis in his neck and shoulder. And I was like, you know what, my next one's, I'm just going to get a power one. It saves time, no broken pull cords, whatever. I didn't think that if you opted for that option, you wouldn't actually get a pull start anywhere on the mower. It's supposed to be here normally, flywheel and a you don't get it, which is worrying because we could have, when that battery wasn't working, just resorted back to using a pull cord until we got the battery sorted. It was a write-off until I got a new battery. So there's that. Another thing, let's go back to the underside of the unit. In here, you find, I don't know, I haven't contacted the Guinness Book of Records, but you will find, yes, it's very dirty. I should have got them to clean it out. But you will find the housing for the self-drive belt, which is the most unreliable part of this machine. It's held on by not 1, but 2 screws, which is basically just a big black circular disc that goes above the blade but holds any debris from getting into the belt area. Because obviously building up a debris in there can unmount the belt around the pulley, and it doesn't do it. The 2 screws, after a while, are ineffective. They rattle their way out, and because they're just tapped into the deck metal, as soon as it comes out, trying to twist them back in isn't just like tapping a screw into some thread. It is literally like there's no thread there. So I had to get some wider screws and tap those in instead, and that seems to have held it on for now. But seeing as it was about 4 months in that these started pulling off, I'm guessing I'm going to get another 4 months and I'll have to look for wider screws again. You can't make it permanent by gluing it on because you need to access that belt, because it's pretty rubbish, as you might have guessed. There is 2 pulleys, one around the transmission system and the other around the axle for the blades. Now, there is a thing called I don't know what it's called. It's a little aluminium block that's inside the shaft of the axle of the blade, if you call it that. And that purpose is if you get a jam, while the blade's going round, a shear pin it's called, it will shear off so you don't damage the actual axle or snap it at the rod up inside the mower or break the blades or whatever. That shears off. You can replace just a little metal thing which is strong enough for normal use, but if you hit anything, those are perfect. So these guys have never hit anything that's caused this mower to cut out other than grass or whatever, the little bit of soil. They've never hit a large rock and buggered it up. That was still fully intact. So to say that they're not using them correctly is, in my view, isn't the case. They just use a lot and they can't cope. So that shear pin's intact, and the blades, the belt always comes off. So it's not like it's spinning and the blades, the belt's not turning with it or whatever. It's just so much crap gets under that plate that it gets pulled in with the pulley, then it comes off. So it either unmounts by the transmission or the axle, for which you have to, the axle, the main drive shaft, sorry, you have to take that plate off again, put your hand in there, pull it back round. If it's the transmission, you've got to really try and get your hand up inside there and turn it while it's on its back. So it's not an easy thing, it's fiddly as hell. But it can be one of those or both. And when they say to me, the self-drive's not working, I'll go, great. So I'm gonna have to fiddle around with that. Luckily I can fix it. The other thing is, these cables are rubbish. They give you this plastic tensioner so that if the self-drive cable is quite a bit slack and it's going really slow, no power, you can tension it right up, which means that the handle is harder to pull, but it pulls that cable and pulls that pulley cord, because all that happens is the transmission gets pulled back and the belt becomes tense. These are rubbish, although they work. You know, every single cheap mower on the market has a metal one of these, which means that it won't get pulled inside, or the threads won't break off it if you're pulling that tension too much. But it works, so I'm not going to complain. It's just an observation I had. However, I don't know if it's related, I've now had this go wrong. This is something that goes wrong on all mowers. But you think when you're paying nearly £500 per mower, they would use a slightly thicker system, or at least a spring mounted system, so that the tension, or the over tension I should say, isn't put directly on the cable. But no, they use a standard rubbish molded metal grip, which eventually under tension breaks here, and that's what's happened to this. It's got nothing there to put it back against that hole. To be honest, that is quite a standard thing. But after all of my heartache with these machines, this one is just, oh my god, something else has gone wrong. And you know what makes it doubly worse? Makes the whole thing twice as annoying? I bought two of them. So they can't say to me, you've got a dud, because pretty much everything that went wrong on that one has gone wrong on this one. And you know what else? These are team specific. So I've got Team Atlanta take this one, Team Dave takes this one. So they can't say that one person's not using it right. They can't say one person keeps breaking it. The same things go wrong. Oh, and you know what? I could even show you some of the things I'm talking about. See this? There's the little caps. You try and get that back on there when these little things are just not clipping. Look, that one's still there even, look. After all the sort of mowing it's done, it's still there. But you try and get that to hold under there, you got no chance. This one is here in the workshop or outside the workshop again. Because why? Why was this? Belt's come off this one. No, tell a lie. The height adjustment spring. Let's have a look. So the height adjustment spring is there around that bit, but obviously the bit that holds it around the wheels is not working. This one's got a little handle. Look, so it's come off that one. Never mind. Feels bouncy, so maybe that's not the problem with this one. Maybe it was the other one. I don't know. It's got problems. They're annoyed with it. They'd rather take, and this is really sad, and I might do a review on it, The £199 Titan low-powered motor self-propelled mowers. It pains me to have Titan written on stuff when we're out looking after people's properties that are millions of pounds worth and we're pushing a Titan around, because they are budget items. But we've had 2 of those for 6 months. Not a single issue. Not one. They start first pull. Not had to change the oil because it's getting, hunting around or making loads of smoke. Even though they get treated just like these puff out smoke all the time. We have to sort of like look at whether they've been put on their side and stuff. No broken cords, no problems with the self-drive. These have constantly had problems with the belts, with the tension cables, with all sorts. They just work, and they cut just as well as these. Come on, Stiga, sort this out. You may say to me, why am I complaining on YouTube instead of just going to them or going to who I bought it from? Well, yes, you're right. My Consumer Protection Act says that I've got a year's guarantee. Not really for commercial, but there's still some agreement there. And I could say that they're not fit for purpose and start arguing that they've made a lawnmower to cut lawns and it doesn't cut lawns. So that is literally the definition of not fit for purpose. The truth is, I contacted them. I gave them the full problems that I had with both of them. This is mower magic. The guy on the phone was very sympathetic, which is good. And he asked me to put everything in an email so he could pass it over to their customer service team to see if something can be done. That was nearly 3 weeks ago. Not had a single word back. I'm guessing they're going, oh God, there's nothing we can do about this. It's out of the 1 month warranty or the 3 month warranty. Despite the fact that I spent thousands of pounds with them in the past is irrelevant, because obviously their catchment is huge. They can just get another customer to spend thousands of pounds with them. And going to Stiga would be pointless, because they say on their website they might only honour 90 days warranty with their products. These are over that. They're 3, 4 or 5 months old. My problem is that I've now spent £1,000 nearly on 2 items, as well as several parts, £25 here, £30 there, as well as time, a lot of it, going to my workers' places where they're cutting the lawn to see if I can get it up and running again, or taking a replacement to them. Saturday, it's now going to go into my workshop, 2 of them, to see if I can fix them ready for Monday for them to use them again. So they don't think, well, that's only £1,000. They don't realise it's more than that. To someone like me, we're talking thousands now. The time I've spent, the money I've spent, and the heartache with these things that has affected my business. Driving them, fuel to get them to places. I'm 10 miles away from Whitfield. I've had to go there 3 times. They don't realise those things, and of course I probably should have wrote everything like that down, but I was giving them a fair chance to read between the lines and think, actually, we need to help this customer, and they haven't. Not Stiga, not... I would say more, I bought these from Mower Magic, so I'd say it's their problem, not the manufacturer. This manufacturer warranty rubbish is just a way for them to use the original creator of the product to service them. It's not the manufacturer's problem, it is the person you bought it from. I've not done research. I used to work in retail and I was a customer service advisor, so I know exactly how it works. There's some element of goodwill has to be shown for them to get around these problems, because if they go back to Stiga and give them these 2 mowers, they're going to go, no, we're not giving you money back for those. So that £1,000 or whatever they bought them for, probably nowhere near that, is up to them to swallow. But in truth, I've swallowed far more so far. So I'm asking them to sort out this problem, because they've sold me a right couple of pups. And I would tell, I mean, unfortunately for them now, this is going to sound like I'm giving them very bad press, but I'm not the one giving them bad press. I'm simply talking about it. They caused this for themselves. And I dare say if I was KSI, they were doing this, they would be on the phone straight away to either KSI or their lawyer or whatever. But with my humble 700 viewers, followers, whatever, they're not going to give 2 threepenny bits. But that's the situation I'm in. Don't buy these terrible products, because you will probably be happy for a month, or if you're a home user just, you'll be happy for a while, but they're not going to last what they say they're going to last. and they don't get excessive use. As you can see, 5 months in, yes, they got some grass in the bottom because they dropped them off here midday when they broke on Friday, both of them. So they haven't been cleaned up, but actually they're very well looked after. I've seen literally machines in pieces returned after 5 months because of commercial use and the wear and tear of use. So they've been looked after, and they're not proving to do what they say they're going to do. So if you want a cheap mower that's gonna last for you, and you know what, it comes with a 2-year warranty, which is kind of like instant swap, is go to Screwfix, pick up the Titan self-drive mower, 200 quid. If you're not too worried about brands and things, go for them, because you can have it for 12 months. If it starts giving you a real headache, go into Screwfix. They might ask you to check a few things, or they might just go, let's just swap it for you. And that is good service. See you later, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video.